Alright everyone, welcome back. He observes the disgruntled bowman in red. It is obvious who's going to win. Archer has no chance of victory at hand-to-hand combat. That is something he knew. If Archer is a bowman like his name states, this cannot be a fair fight unless he is shooting from a distance. But he blocked the attacks. He has been at an advantage and should not last a few more blows, but he blocked my full force attacks. Is he strong? Or am I going easy on him? I sneer. Archer is mysterious servant. I should admit that he's strong in that regard. But it is unthinkable that I'm going easy. The first attack was aimed at the neck to blow his face off. The second attack was aimed at the heart to smash his ribcage. There's no way I'm going easy. There's no way, but it is certainly true that I wasn't trying to kill him. What is there in a serious battle? A battle between servants comes down to a battle of noble phantasms. The fact that I'm cornering him without using that fatal attack is proof that I'm going easy. That reason. The cause seems to be the expression of gratitude that he had never heard before. The swords clash harder than before. Both parties spring apart with sparks that fly. Lancer's full force blow, as if he is about to hit himself, is offset by Archer's full force attack. The distance between them is about 5 meters. With that distance, Lancer would be able to close in at an instant. Oh, I know that pose. The spearman in blue murmurs.
貴様、これだけの腕を持っていながらキャスターについたのか。貴様取りんならば、キャスターになぞ遅れは取るまい。
Lancer stops admitting murderous intent, but there is no opening in his stance. At that, Archer slightly smiles.
驚いたな。何を言い出すかと思えば、まだそんなことを口にするのか。ランサー、私は少しでも勝算の高い手段を取っただけだ。リンがどう思うと、私はこれ以外の手段はないと判断した。
His voice, full of confidence, has no sense of guilt. I'm not gonna lie, the moment the music stopped, I thought there was a glitch in my game. I was like, oh no. The knight in red actually did not regret betraying his master.
そうかよ。尋ねた俺がバカだったぜ。
Archer agrees. Lancer snorts and quietly raises the tip of his spear.
確かにお前は戦上手だ。そのお前が取った手段ならば、せいぜいうまく立ち回るだろう。だが、それは王道ではない。貴様の剣には、決定的に誇りが欠けている。
His fighting spirit rises. Seeing that, the bowman in red smiles in delight.
ああ、あいにく誇りなどない身だからな。だが、それがどうした？英雄としての名が汚れる？笑わせないでくれよ、ランサー。汚れなど、成果で洗い流せる。そんな余分なプライドはな、そこいらの犬にでも食わせてしまえ。
In an instant, the slightly relaxed atmosphere completely changes. The air freezes. The demonic spear, with the magical energy to disrupt the order of the world and invert cause and effect, is raised. The murderous intent that is released is nothing like before. In the midst of the tension where it is difficult to even breathe.
犬と言ったな、アーチャー。
The spearman in blue bellows in a voice that could drive crows away from the battlefield.
事実だ、空風林。英雄の誇りなぞ持っているのなら、今のうちに捨てておけ。
よく言った。ならば、お前が先に行け。
You can feel how strong the tension is right now between them, especially with the music being so hollow and frightening. Lancer jumps back greatly. It's not the matter of distance to thrust his spear. The distance that opened between them in an instant is over 100 meters. Lancer leaps back to the entrance of this clearing and crouches on all fours like a beast. Archer's five senses freeze. Is it fear or awe? Whichever it is, he immediately understood the meaning of Lancer's retreat. The fact that his enemy's next attack is literally a fatal one.
俺のゲイボルクの能力は効いているな、アーチャー。
Lancer, crouching on the ground on all fours, raises his waist. His form is like a sprinter waiting for the starting pistol. Archer does not have time to answer. The knight in red throws away his swords and immerses himself in his own mind as fast as possible. But will he make it? Lancer's posture. If his demonic spear is like the legend, the noble phantasm that blocks it cannot be superficial.
行くぞ。この一撃、手向けとして受け取るがいい。
The blue panther runs. Even his afterimage is far away. Lancer sprints towards Archer like the wind. The distance between both parties is 100 meters. Lancer is not going to thrust his spear with that running start. The blue figure crouches. The spearman then ran through 50 meters in an instant, suddenly leaps up from the ground. Ah hell, his body flies through the air. He holds up the magical spear that always pierces the heart once it is thrust. Space distorts. According to the legend, that spear scatters numerous arrowheads once it is thrust into the enemy. In other words, soaring spear that. The spear of causality responds to the words. The spearman in blue leans back as if drawing a bow. Lunges with death. And he slams down that blow with a roar. It is a noble phantasm that was made to be thrown. The spear that always pierces the heart once it is aimed. The cursed noble phantasm that cannot be avoided and will continue attacking the target every time it is avoided. That is Gae Bolg, the spear of destruction possessed by the hero who never lost once in his lifetime. There is no way to stop that thing that is shot out with all of Lancer's magical energy. It cannot be avoided nor dodged. Therefore, it is fatal. There is no way for one to survive once they are targeted by the magical spear. The magical bullet approaches. In a split second, the knight in red closes his eyes, as if accepting his death.
I have the bone on my soul.
The Thorn of Light clashes. The moment the Thorn of Destruction comes falling from the sky to directly hit the knight in red.
No. Ah, yes!
7 rings cradling the burning heavens. The true name is spoken, shaking the air. The spear and shield clash. The spear of death which breaks through every protective wall and evasion. That spear is stopped. The fatal spear is stopped by Archer's noble phantasm swirling up a storm of wind and scattering debris. The 7 flower petals that appeared from nowhere protect Archer and oppose the magical bullet that tries to shoot him down. Who would know? This protection itself is Aias. The only thing said to stop the javelin of the great hero is the shield of Aias. There are 7 barriers shaped like the flower petals, and each layer is as strong as the castle wall. It is a bounded field noble phantasm that is invincible against any projectile weapon targeted towards the user. A thrown spear would surely be defeated by the shield without penetrating even one of the petals. At the very least, Archer does not know of any spear that can break through this shield. And yet, that fatal spear breaks through it effortlessly. The 6 flower petals destroyed. Only one remains. The magical spear reaches the 7th petal that has never been pierced through, and it doesn't stop its force. The unstoppable thorn to the magical spear. With that right in front of him. With a roaring spirit, Archer pours all of his magical energy into his own noble phantasm. Lancer, who has landed on the ground, stares at the servant in front of him. Archer has wounds all over his body. His stretched out arm is like a decayed branch. His face is distorted in pain, not only from the wounds on his arm, but from enduring a headache beyond his imagination.
驚いたな。アイアスを貫通しうる槍がこの世にあろうとは。
It's almost as if he was testing the shield. Like, you know Gae Bolg can pierce anything, and he still put up the raw eyes.
君のそれはオリジナルのグングニルを上回っている。
The knight in red compliments the spearman in blue from the bottom of his heart. There's no way such a thing would get through to the Lancer. His strongest attack, the attack that made him a hero, was blocked. He is so angry that his glare should be able to kill someone. But that anger is almost erased by a strong wonder. It is too strange. It is true that Archer is a mysterious servant. His identity is unknown. He carries twin swords while being a bowman, and even showed a shield that could block Lancer's strongest attack. That is abnormal. Such a hero cannot be found anywhere in this world.
貴様、何者だ？
ただの旧兵だが、君の見立ては間違いではない。
ざれ言を。旧兵が宝具を防ぐほどの盾を持つものか。
Nor would he have twin blades.
場合によっては持つだろう。だが、それもこのざまだ。魔力の大部分を消費したというのに、腕をやられ、アイアスも完全に破壊された。まったく、私が持ち得る最強の守りだったのだがな、今のは。
Lancer keeps glaring at Archer, who's bantering. Then,
それより、気づいたか、ランサー。キャスターめ、存外に苦戦していると見える。こちらに向けられていた監視が止まった。
Archer adds, raising his arms as if to surrender.
そうかよ。そうじゃねえかとは思ったけどな。てめえ、元からそういう腹か。
無論だ。言っただろう。勝率の高い手段だけを取ると。
とことん気に食わねえ野郎だな、てめえ。
Lancer says bitterly and turns his back to Archer. His job is done. His role to distract Archer is meaningless now. There's no need for him to support Rin Tosaka any longer. The spearman in blue turns on one heel to return to his master and lays on the grass to observe some more. And now we're back to these two. I desperately parried the constant flurry of fists. Kuzuki's fists are live snakes. Even if I barely dodge them, they change their course of direction to come bite me the moment I avoid them. That's how Saber got seriously injured. Saber was grazed by Kuzuki's snake because she had the reflexes to dodge it. But I don't have such reflexes. I can't dodge them, and first of all, I can't even see his fists. I can't see them, so it's impossible to even dodge. My shoulder. Kuzuki's fist grazes my left collarbone. It's like a sledgehammer. It feels as if my left shoulder is shattered and I almost dropped my dagger. I stop and bear it, repelling the repeated fist aiming towards my face with the dagger in my right hand. I desperately retreat. I retreat without regard for my appearance while Kuzuki closes in, without revealing how he advanced. I shiver at his stance. I won't be able to withstand the next attack. It's absurd that I was able to parry all the attacks until now. It doesn't feel real. My misunderstanding of being able to manage with just defense and being a decoy until Tosaka defeats Caster shattered from the first blow. Soichiro Kuzuki took our previous battle into account. Before, I was able to fend off Kuzuki who attacked Tosaka. So I thought I'd be able to block his attacks if I projected Archer's twin swords. But, on the other hand, that means I can't do anything without Archer's swords. Kuzuki took that into consideration. This time, the first thing that Kuzuki did was try to take away my twin blades. And apparently shatter them. My right dagger shatters. His fist, strengthened by Caster's magecraft, destroys my sword with just a few blows. I immediately replaced the dagger. I can't expect high quality from a forced projection and quickly made swords. As a result, the twin swords that had received several attacks lose their accuracy. I can't control my breathing. I frantically block Kuzuki's stake with my twin swords. My body just follows the twin swords. My limbs that copy Archer's movements have far exceeded the limits of my body. And then there's this headache. My body erodes every time my twin swords are destroyed and I project new ones. It's different from using up magical energy. It feels like I lose one of the few magic circuits I have every time I make a new sword. I'm almost out. I might be able to make 2 more. It's over when my magical energy runs out. But first of all, would I be able to make 2 more? I'm in the air. Kuzuki's right fist, the fist that he hadn't been using, was thrust like a spear. I parried the blow that tried to pierce through my chest and ribcage with my twin blades. In an instant, my twin swords are destroyed, and it seems like I was flung away from the impact. I feel something hard against my back. I must have been flung about 5 meters. I try to resume my breathing and realize I can't breathe. The penetrating impact is numbing my heart. I can't breathe and I can't even move my limbs. Just a few seconds. During that gap of my heart resuming to work, the devil approaches. This is it. This man would finish me off if I dropped my guard for only a second. With me like this, it would be more than enough time to kill me 6 times. I glare at my enemy. Even if my limbs don't move, there are still things I can do. I'm not one who wields swords to start with. My weapon that I fight with has always been magecraft. Then, it's not over yet. My role is to hold Kuzuki down. I can't give up willing without fulfilling my role. That hitting sound didn't come from in front of me. The structure of the sword that I was imagining disappears. Kuzuki, who was approaching to twist off my neck, stops. That abnormality was behind Kuzuki. It happened to Caster with the altar behind her. Tosaka is also at an advantage. No, the burn is greater than mine since she clearly understands the difference in their powers. Caster points her fingers towards her, full of composure. The magecraft is arrow. Caster has no need for incantations. To the witch that lived in the Age of Gods, she does not need a process to connect herself with the world. Caster is always surrounded by the divine mysteries that make the world go round. For her, magecraft is just something she commands. It's just like ordering a guard dog to attack. She counters that with her treasure jewels. She does not have the time to cast a spell, and she cannot match Caster's magecraft with simple spells. Their skills as a mage are as far apart as heaven and earth. To bridge that gap, she can only bring out the thing that she has been accumulating for a long time. The crystallization of magical energy that she has stored since she was born as the daughter of a mage. She faces the challenge, preparing to use the remaining 9 out of 10 irreplaceable jewels.
けなげに頑張ること。そんな奥の手があるとは思わなかったわ、お嬢さん。
Caster keeps her smile, even though her magecraft is being nullified by pure magical energy. Caster, who can exercise magecraft almost infinitely, and the girl who opposes her using jewels as amplifiers. That difference is obvious. I do not know how many jewels she has, but it should be around 10 or 20. There's no way she can defeat Caster with that amount. She neutralizes the electric charge with the 7th jewel. There are 6 jewels left. With 6 more spells from Caster, her trump card will run out.
あら、綺麗に防ぎきるのね。本当にけなげ。自分だけ守っていれば石を使い切ることもないでしょうに。
Without reacting to the giggling voice, she readies the jewel between her fingers in preparation for the next bullet. Just as Caster says, her jewels would not shatter if she were just protecting herself. Each jewel should be able to block Caster's spell about 3 times. But she couldn't do that. Caster's Magecraft covers the sanctuary once it's activated. Kuzuki should be protected by Caster, but he is an exception. If she doesn't counter Caster's Magecraft before it's activated, then Shiro Emiya, who is keeping Soichiro Kuzuki busy, will burn and die. Therefore, it is meaningless if she protects only herself. She can't let him die like that, and the premise of this strategy is that she stops Kuzuki.
まだ守りきるつもり？大した信念ですけど、それもいつまで持つかしらね。受けてばかりでは結果は見えていてよ、お嬢さん。
Caster's fingers move. Winter River. In response to that, she makes the first move. Her jewels will run out, and she will be killed if she keeps on defending. Caster's Magecraft on her jewels. If the magical energy contained is the same, then it means she can beat Caster if she makes the first move. But she cannot surpass Caster's spells. If Ren Tosaka is the fastest without using spells and can establish Magecraft just by releasing jewels, Caster is also the fastest as she can create divine mysteries with just one phrase. There is no first move in their battle. This is just a clash of power against power. The first one to lose from the clash and run out of magical energy loses. Then... I don't think the previous, the ultimate edition of Fate by the fan translations ever really translated the moves. I think it's the first time I'm actually seeing it. She just needs to force her way through. She uses her jewels one after another and breaks through Caster's magical energy. There are 3 jewels released. Additionally, she uses her treasured 4th jewel to add a synergistic effect. That Magecraft is beyond her limits. You cannot use Magecraft surpassing your own tolerance. She herself who told him that is breaking the rule to unleash this attack. The attack would destroy not only the sanctuary, but the entire church had Caster not defended against it. But the witch with purple blocks it like it's nothing. No, it wasn't just that. Caster had swallowed all of her magical energy into her robe. Tosaka stands there in astonishment. Behind her, she can hear the sound of his defeat. The sound of breaking swords and his body slamming against the wall. The match is about to be settled. There's nothing she can do, and her body sways. She staggers forward as if defeated by an inescapable despair.
あら、これで終わり？まだ手持ちの宝石はあるのでしょ？諦めずになくなるまで試してみたら？
She has no energy to answer. Regardless of how many jewels she has left, this was the best she could do. If that didn't work, not even 100 jewels would be enough to hurt Caster with her Magecraft.
そう、ようやく理解したようね。何をしようが私にはかなわないと。けれど楽しくはあったわ、お嬢さん。魔術を競い合うのは久しぶりでしたからね。ええ。それだけでもあなたに価値を与えましょう。
She stops herself from falling forward, suppresses her nausea with her hand, and keeps glaring at Caster.
悔しい？けれどこれが現実よ。むしろ誇りなさい。遊んであげたとはいえ、あなたはこの私に魔術戦をさせたのだから。
Then Caster points at her, as if to pronounce her death sentence.
消えなさい。あの坊やが私のマスターに倒されるのは時間の問題。その前に、こちらもそろそろ終わりにしましょう。
Caster slowly murmurs her death. That opening. She had been waiting for that judgment, She only needed one phrase to release the spell. She hangs her head and smiles as she murmurs. I doubt my own eyes for a moment. Tosaka and Caster. Their battle of Magecraft ended with Tosaka's defeat. Tosaka slowly staggered forward as if asking for Caster's forgiveness, and Caster released Magecraft to finish her off. That moment. Tosaka counters the released Magecraft. That's fine. That's not surprising. The problem is after that. Tosaka punches Caster with a fired up stance. Tosaka throws herself into the Hellfire. She counters the released Magecraft, and using it as a distraction, she jumps onto Caster. Caster's surprise is that of a mage. She could not have predicted that the mage that lost in Magecraft would come punching at her. I didn't expect it either, so it must be like blasphemy for Caster, who is an excellent mage. But that isn't just a useless struggle. Tosaka closes in and lands a 1-inch punch, a Chinese martial arts move on Caster's chest. She learned the inch punch? A shattering sound. Tosaka must have strengthened her fist like Kuzuki as her blow easily breaks through Caster's defense.
魔術師のくせに殴り合いなんて。
ホワイ肉様、今時の魔術師ってのは護身術も必修科目よ。
I'm honestly fascinated by her coordination. Tosaka drops to the ground right after the 1-inch punch. Putting both hands on the ground, she crouches down to Caster's knees. To Caster, who has no hand-to-hand combat knowledge, it must look like Tosaka disappeared. Then she executes a foot sweep. Her kick using her entire body is explosive, as she's trying to kick off Caster's legs. Caster's feet are swept beneath her and lands on her back. But it doesn't stop. After the sweep, Tosaka stands up with her back turned to Caster, uses the turning momentum to jab Caster with an elbow. Tosaka stops her turning and throws a straight punch at Caster, putting her weight into it. Caster's body is blown away. Taking Tosaka's straight punch directly, Caster slammed into a wall like me. Ooh. Leaning against the wall, Caster pants dizzily. There's distance between them. Tosaka kicks the ground to cover the few meters between them. The match is settled. Caster cannot move and her wound seems fatal. The battle only lasts for a few seconds. The match is settled within a 5-second interval after I was smashed into the wall when confronting Kuzuki. Caster has no energy left to fight back. Tosaka closes in on Caster with saber-like speed and delivers the finishing blow, strengthening for just a few seconds using Magecraft. Tosaka intended to fight Caster close combat from the start. Caster only saw Tosaka as a mage. She acted like she was at a disadvantage so that she could use that opening to achieve our one-time surprise attack. And the plan worked. Caster was deceived by Tosaka and completely lost. Tosaka has won this battle. Yes.
いや、そこまでだ、遠坂。
If not for this man's monstrous athleticism. If Tosaka running to Caster was like a hurricane, then his speed is like a storm caused by the devil. Yeah, I didn't forget about him. I kind of saw him coming. Tosaka stops. In front of Caster, leaning against the wall, is Soichiro Kuzuki, who was just in front of me until now. Tosaka moves. The instant Tosaka feels death and immediately shields her face while jumping back. Kuzuki's right fist that blew me away strikes Tosaka's face. Tosaka guards her face with both hands and jumps back, but she's sent flying. She smashed into a wall opposite from me with her arms dangling down as if they were broken.
勝機を逃したな。4度打ち込んで殺せなかったお前の未熟だ。
He says calmly, But that's not Tosaka's fault. The reason she lost her chance is because of me. If I had stopped Kuzuki, Tosaka would have defeated Caster. This is my responsibility. Our once-in-a-lifetime opportunity was lost because of my inexperience and Soichiro Kuzuki's superior hand-to-hand combat skills.